Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. The number one story this week in the NBA has been the article from ESPN's Baxter Holmes, I believe his name is, that he published talking about the turmoil that took place within the Lakers organization, and he specifically put a spotlight on former governor now, Jeannie Buss, right? And he put out some not comments, but some information out there early this week that had everybody talking, where essentially Jeannie Buss was expressing her displeasure with partnering with LeBron James. She talked about not wanting to give. He brought up the fact that she didn't want to give him a contract extension. She didn't like the fact that he showed no accountability for the Russell Westbrook debacle, and then he didn't show enough appreciation for the team drafting Bronny. So you had all of that, right? And everyone reacted to it. Then immediately, a lot of these guys came out. The LeBron guy, you know who they are. They all started pushing back. Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, he bent the knee on ESPN. Brian Windhorst, who has no shame, he went on ESPN and bent the knee as well. And a bunch of other people that we can't remember right now. So just this morning, I was going through the internet here, and I was surprised to hear that Chris Broussard, first things first, decided to weigh in on the issue. But not only did Chris weigh in on the issue, he took a brutal shot, not only at Jeannie Buss, but also her siblings, and saying that LeBron James going to the Lakers saved her and her siblings from being an abject failure ever since taking over since her father, Jerry Buss, passed away. And I was like, goodness Lord. So what we want to do now is I want to play what Chris Broussard had to say here. I want you guys to listen to all of it. Nick Wright is going to speak first, unfortunately, and then we're going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to his comments here.
Your reaction to that?
Well, great piece by Baxter Holmes, and the piece is not about LeBron. The piece is about the Buss family, and everyone should read it. It's a lot of work he put into it. But the section on Jeannie and LeBron starts with this, and this is where I just want to focus for a moment. She didn't like that James was considered a savior for a floundering franchise when he arrived in 2018, and that it was he who chose the Lakers rather than the team's leadership receiving praise for landing him. So I just want to address that very quickly.
Tough one.
Because it's a little complicated. Yeah. The reason LeBron James, I think she's right, considered himself a savior for a floundering franchise.
Or he was considered a savior.
Or that he was considered a savior for a floundering franchise is because the Lakers were a floundering franchise and he was their savior.
He saved them. Yeah, that checks out.
In the history of the Lakers before LeBron got there, they had missed the playoffs 10 times ever. Once in the 50s, twice in the 70s, once in the 90s, once in the aughts. And the 5 years leading up to LeBron getting there, when they, out in a 30-team league, had the 30th most wins.
Tough.
They were the worst team in the league for 5 years. LeBron got there, helped get them Anthony Davis, and they won a championship. So, and I understand they're still mad about Russell Westbrook. Whatever.
Let it go.
If I were LeBron and I found out that's how they feel about me, I'd be furious. And I think, does LeBron have a big ego? I've heard that. You know what? I think that's probably true. See a lot to deal with? Yeah. But does anyone deserve to feel like this franchise was on the brink and I got him back? And do I think it's because he wanted to live in L.A. or because of an awesome PowerPoint by Rob Pelinka? I think it's because he wanted to live in L.A. So I just don't understand the bitterness there, Brew. And it's a weird thing to come out.
Look, I believe LeBron and Jeannie Buss have had a solid relationship. Mm-hmm. I also believe that they could have a solid and good relationship. I believe LeBron when he says, I thought it was good. And I believe they could have that relationship and still it be true that she's in the office, said to somebody, oh, now we putting the Westbrook thing on us, or, something like that. Or, we drafted Bronny for him. He should be great, stuff like that. You can call it two-faced, whatever, but that happens. People say things behind people's back, and they still may have a good relationship with that person. So I kind of think it's like that. I don't think Jeannie, I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think she like dislikes LeBron or think, all that, while I do believe the stuff that's in the article. But I agree with you, Nick. Look, the bottom line is Jeannie Buss and the Lakers and the Buss family should be grateful that LeBron decided, I want to go to the Lakers. Because you are right. If LeBron, now we don't know who they would have drafted, whatever would have happened, but there's no evidence from, as you said, the 5 previous years before LeBron went there. There's no evidence since Jerry Buss, their dad, passed away in 2013 that they would have figured it out.
Correct.
LeBron just chose to go to LA because it's a great franchise and LA's a great city. And then he got you Anthony Davis. And if you didn't have Anthony Davis, you wouldn't have Luka.
Right.
All right. So he did save the franchise. He got them 1 championship. All right. And I'm going to say, if LeBron had not decided to go to the Lakers, the Buss children, let's say they still sold after 12 years, would go down as like abject failures as far as the owner. The dad, Showtime, Kobe and Shaq, Kobe and Powell, all those championships. And since then, outside of LeBron, nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So they are lucky. You look at Jeannie and the Buss kids, but particularly Jeannie, as she got him a championship. She did a good job.
Right.
And if he wasn't there, you wouldn't be looking at it like that.
We got to go.
So you heard what Chris had to say. What are my thoughts about this? It's amazing the lengths that these guys will go to defend LeBron. And Chris used the argument that, who did I hear use? Shannon Sharp used, which was, had LeBron not gone to the Lakers and AD would not have gone to the Lakers. And in that case, they wouldn't have been able to get Luka Doncic. I mean, like, what are we doing here? If Kobe hadn't been drafted he wasn't drafted by the Lakers. We got traded to the Lakers, and they got Shaq, and then they got Magic Johnson. They got everything has something before it that occurred that caused something to happen in the future. But to attribute that to LeBron James, to me, is crazy work. What are we gonna do if Luka Doncic goes on and wins a championship? Right? Are we going to say he won the championship because LeBron James decided to go to the Lakers 7, 8, 9 years ago and they got come on, can we knock it off? Y'all are now trying to give LeBron credit in just absolutely ridiculous ways. Number one. Number two, I think you guys are overblowing the impact that this guy had on the Lakers. Chris, he's been with the Lakers going on 8 years now? 8 years. They have 1 title to show for it. The rest of it has just been absolute ineptitude. Let me bring up something to you that one of our viewers sent me the other night, and I didn't think about it. Do you know LeBron's record with the Lakers in the last 3 years, 4 years in the playoffs? It's 2-12. I think it's 2-12. No, it is 2-12. He's lost 12 games. He's lost 12 of the last 14 games that they've played in the playoffs. 12 of them. 12. LeBron's record in the playoffs with the Lakers over the last 3 years is 2-12. Why are you guys overblowing this guy's impact on the Lakers? He's been an abject failure when you think about it from that standpoint over the last 3 years. But I want to bring up a point that one of our viewers told me yesterday and I never thought about. He said Kobe Bryant was able to extract more playoff success with teammates like Smush Parker, Lamar Odom, I think Chris Mims, and those guys against top-tier teams like the Phoenix Suns that they lost the 3-1 lead on. Then LeBron has been able to gain against opponents playing with guys like Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic, bro. And I sat back and I thought about that. I said, that is crazy. That is crazy when you think about it. I had never even considered that. They won 1 title in the bubble under unusual circumstances. Go back and look at the bubble. Go back and look at who they beat in the finals. Go back and look at that roster that they played in the finals against the Miami Heat. So that one title makes up for the 7 years of ineptitude, because that's really what it's been. Firing of coaches, the turmoil in terms of drafting this guy, then the clown show of not drafting, trading for Russell Westbrook, then the clown show of drafting for Bronny. Like, what are we talking about here? Saved them? What did he save them from? Now, we got some other proof to you that Broussard and all of these guys are 100% off the mark here. 100% off the mark. But we're going to get to that in some subsequent shows. You know, I've been listening to some people in media like Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, Brian Windhorst, and maybe some other people that I can't remember, talk about how LeBron James saved the Lakers. And I'm like, you can't be serious. That the Lakers were nothing without LeBron and they were floundering and all of this stuff. First of all, I want to say that you guys are 100% wrong. All right. What year did Kobe Bryant retire? 2016. The last year Kobe Bryant's team made the playoffs was the 2012-2013 year. 2 games in the season, left in the season, he tore his Achilles tendon, right? The last 3 years he missed the playoffs. So how can the Lakers have been floundering for 6 years, 7 years? What are they talking about? The Lakers are going through their worst stretch in the history of the organization. They went through a 3-year stretch. A 3-year stretch. Prior to that, they were in the playoffs. Then they were in the playoffs. Then they lost to the Mavs. Then they won championships. Then they won championships. Then they went to the finals. What are y'all talking? Why are you? Y'all just up here making up? Y'all are just making up things as you go, right? Like the Lakers are 6, 7 years. What you think? What do y'all think we can't count? Like, who are y'all kidding here? So you have that lie that these guys have been trying to propagate, but there's another one, which is, you know, this guy, he saved the Lakers, man. He saved the Lakers. And if it wasn't for LeBron James, they wouldn't have gotten Anthony Davis. And if it wasn't for Anthony Davis, they wouldn't have got Luka Doncic. And I'm like, you guys can't be serious. So there was a post that I was reading from. No, it was from the video we did before with Chris Broussard. And something just told me to read through the comments. And then somebody brought up Kawhi Leonard. That Kawhi Leonard was supposed to join the Lakers. And I started to do some research and I said, oh my God, you Klutch guys, y'all done messed up now. So I want to read some information for y'all. First article, heavy.com. Lakers speak out on Kawhi Leonard's snub tied to LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers are grateful for missing out on Kawhi Leonard in 2019, particularly as the Los Angeles Clippers face an NBA investigation over an an alleged salary cap circumvention linked to the former All-Star. A Lakers source told Lakers Daily that while the team once pursued Leonard aggressively, they now view the Clippers' ongoing headaches with a mix of sympathy and relief. We wanted him in 2019. But we count our blessings all the time that he's not here, the source said. He's been such a headache for the Clippers, I actually feel bad for them sometimes. Leonard snubbed linked to LeBron James. The comments follow a report from the Toronto Star's Bruce Arthur, which revealed Leonard turned down the Lakers because he did not want to play alongside LeBron James. Leonard did not want to play with LeBron James, so the Lakers were a third wheel in the sweepstakes, Arthur wrote. At the time, Leonard was the NBA's top player, fresh off leading the Toronto Raptors to their first championship by defeating a Golden State Warriors team that had dominated James during his stint in Cleveland. Now, I want to read from another article. This is from Fadeaway World. Kawhi Leonard refused to join the Lakers because he didn't want to play with LeBron James. Let's continue on. Kawhi Leonard's free agency in 2019 was one of the biggest storylines in NBA history, but a new report shed light on why he refused to join the Lakers. According to Bruce Arthur of the Toronto Star, Leonard never wanted to play with LeBron James and ultimately left the Lakers as nothing more as an afterthought in the sweepstakes. And then the article, and it says, the Raptors believed there was a real chance he would return instead of going to the Clippers despite the lure of Leonard's home state, California, reported the Star. Leonard didn't want to play with LeBron James, so the Lakers were a third wheel in the sweepstakes. Now, I want to come back to reality here for a second. Kawhi Leonard, who was one of the disciples of Kobe Bryant, and y'all know how much Kobe Bryant meant to him, who is from California. who made it clear he didn't want to be in Toronto, had an opportunity to play with Anthony Davis and LeBron James and turned down the opportunity. But LeBron saved the Lakers. Meanwhile, you had arguably the best player in the world at that time saying, I don't want to be teammates with this guy. If you listen to Chris and all of these guys, they make it seem as if the moment LeBron got there, it was like he became a magnet for free agents and everybody wanted to come play in LA. That's not the case. The primary reason AD came to play with LeBron, or number one, firstly, they were signed to the same agency and they were represented by the same agent in Rich Paul. That's number one, right? So you have that there. Number two, AD viewed LeBron as some type of big brother figure. Kawhi Leonard did not view LeBron as a big brother. He viewed him as a rival. Because remember, they had faced off against each other in the finals. So Kawhi looked at him and said, no, I don't want to be with you. I want to beat you. I'm not trying to play with you. AD wanted to be the little brother to LeBron so badly, and you could see it during press conferences and everything, because everything LeBron did, he would just follow him around like his tail. All right? And AD ultimately wasn't the right guy for the job because he never ended up maturing into the guy that became the cornerstone of the Lakers. He just eventually turned out to be a trading asset. That's essentially what he turned out to be. But if you listen to these guys, they're making it seem like he changed the fortune. Look, Kawhi Leonard, who was the Finals MVP, went on one of the greatest runs in NBA Finals playoff runs in NBA playoffs history, turned down the Lakers because he didn't want to play with LeBron James, despite the fact that he was a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Despite the fact he was a huge Kobe fan, and he said no. I don't want to play with this dude. Now, some of y'all may be thinking, oh, this is just a one-off, Charles. Oh, you wait to what we have coming up next. We are shooting holes through every single one of these guys' lies, because that's all they do. They lie like it's a sport. I mean, this could have been a 3-part series, right? Because this is a continuation of 2 previous segments that we already did today. Obviously, it depends on how you're watching today's shows. But this really kicked off when Chris Broussard made some comments earlier where he said that LeBron coming to the Lakers saved the legacy of Jeannie Buss and all of her siblings and stopped them from being abject failures as collective owners of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I said to myself, that's harsh. And in one of the points that he put forward, he even said that had LeBron not joined the Lakers, that they wouldn't have been able to get AD. And then the chain of events that occurred afterwards, meaning trading AD for Luka Doncic, would not have happened had LeBron not joined the Lakers. So he saved them. And as I'm sitting here listening to these guys, I'm like, who are y'all fooling? Like, I'm confused. Like, who are you guys fooling? Like, y'all are, like, is it that these people feel like they're the only ones that are like paying attention to things while things are occurring? So I did some research. And what I found out may surprise many of you because these people don't give you guys the full information. But it's all a big lie. He didn't save the Lakers. He wasn't the guy that made LA attractive. As a matter of fact, it was the opposite. And we have concrete evidence here to prove it. And there's some articles that I want to read from that is absolutely going to shoot holes in all of these lies that these guys continuously propagate every single day relentlessly. Let's get to the first article from Fadeaway World. 7 NBA stars who didn't want to join LeBron James and the Lakers. 7. Let's continue on. LeBron James has long been a magnet for superstars, attracting top talents to his teams. However, several high-profile superstars have avoided joining forces with him in the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's a look at the prominent NBA stars who have steered clear of teaming up with LeBron James and the Lakers since the Kings' arrival in California. Jimmy Butler, In 2019, Jimmy Butler was a coveted free agent, and many speculated he might join the Lakers after his single season with the Philadelphia 76ers to form a formidable duo with LeBron James. Instead, Butler chose to sign with the Miami Heat, where he has led the team to multiple deep playoff runs, including the NBA Finals appearance in 2020 and 2023. Kawhi Leonard's decision to join the Los Angeles Clippers instead of the Lakers indeed shocked many NBA fans and analysts alike. After leading the Toronto Raptors to an NBA championship in 2019, it was widely speculated that Kawhi would return to his home state of California and team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the Lakers. However, Leonard opted for a different path. He chose to join the LA Clippers, and team had been overshadowed by their successful neighbors, the Lakers. The move surprised many because it showcased Leonard's desire to challenge and compete against LeBron and the Lakers rather than join forces with him. Next person, Paul George. Paul George looked to be on path to making the Hall of Fame with a resume that includes 9 All-Star selections. The Lakers missed out on a chance to bring George in not once but 3 times. During his tenure with the Oklahoma City Thunder, George played a complementary role behind Russell Westbrook, showcasing his ability to thrive alongside another dominant player. Continues. Even after Leonard snubbed the Lakers, Paul George decided to snub the Lakers once again to join superstar with the Clippers in 2019. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's decision to join the Brooklyn Nets in 2019-20 instead of teaming up with LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers indeed surprised many NBA fans and analysts. Durant had the potential to form a dominant duo with LeBron James that could rival some of the greatest pairings in NBA history. Instead, Durant opted for the Brooklyn Nets in a 4-year, $198 million deal where he teamed up with Kyrie Irving. Next player, Kyrie Irving. The Lakers and LeBron's failure to land Kyrie was well documented. Kyrie Irving's departure from Cleveland in 2019 indeed sent shockwaves through the NBA community. His decision to request a trade from a team that had reached the 3 consecutive NBA Finals, winning 1 championship in 2016, was unexpected. Many speculated about the reason behind Kyrie's departure, particularly his relationship with LeBron James and his desire to forge his own path. Irving joined the Boston Celtics, but proved to be a disaster because he left without leading to the NBA Finals. Irving decided to join forces with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn in 2019-20, meaning he would ignore a chance to play with LeBron James in Los Angeles. It keeps going. Chris Paul, widely regarded, blah, 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 and he turned that idea. Another player, Klay Thompson. These are all guys that turned down an opportunity to play with LeBron James. All of them. But you got Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, all of these guys twerking it up on TV, talking about, man, you know, if it wasn't for LeBron James and AD, then we'd have never got Luka Doncic. You know what? I got to say this, and I hope a few of these guys see it. This sports media business ain't about It's not. Half of you guys are just up here lying, twerking it up, withholding information, distorting reality, covering up for your buddies, and don't have one courageous bone in your body to give your audience an honest take on issues. You guys are like lobbyists. You guys are literally like foot soldiers for these guys. If I know this information, y'all don't know it? Why didn't you mention the litany of top-of-the-shelf talent that turned down the opportunity to play with this guy, which, in effect, also affected the Los Angeles Lakers? Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. All of these guys said no. They had an opportunity. They said no. AD did. One of all of these guys decided to join forces with this guy. One. But somehow he saved the Lakers? Somehow? Why y'all, it's unreal the amount of lying these guys can do. They look at you right in the face and they tell bull-faced lies like as if they're the only ones that have a computer that have been alive for the last 20 years. It's unreal to me. This is not a serious medium. Sports media is not a serious medium. It's not a serious medium. It's full of a bunch of grifters, a bunch of special interest guys, and all they do is sit up here and twerk it up every single day. This is all they do. No one is even going to mention the quotes that Kevin Durant brought up. Being in LeBron's orbit is toxic. They're not even going to mention that. They're not. He was able to successfully recruit two people, Russell Westbrook and AD. Those were the two. Missed out on Kawhi, missed out on Kevin Durant, missed out on Jimmy Butler, missed out on Paul George, missed out on Chris Paul. All of them said no. Those were the only two he was able to successfully recruit. And one of those recruits was a disaster. An absolute disaster. AD, well, what is AD's legacy right now? Does AD even have a legacy? What was AD's legacy in LA? He was the media punching bag for LeBron when things didn't work out. AD is brittle. AD refuses to take the mantle. AD refuses to take over the team. LeBron wants to hand over the keys, but AD don't want to take the keys. What keys, bro? What keys? LeBron led the team in shooting field goal attempts for almost 6 years while AD was there. What are you talking about? In the 1 year when AD, that was the first year JJ Redick started coaching, and when he led them in shot attempts, they were doing really well. LeBron like, nah, I got to lead the team in shot attempts because I got to get my stats up. Go look at the years. How many years did AD lead that team in shot attempts, but you want AD to take the key? And then you had Russell Westbrook, who these guys blamed. And they talking about he saved the Lakers. How many championships did they won for the Lakers? 1. What's LeBron's record in the playoffs with the Lakers over the last 3 years? 2-12. Let me repeat for the people in the back. 2-12. That means out of the last 14 games the Lakers have played in the playoffs, they've only won 2. But he saved their legacy. You can't, these people are not serious people. I say it every day. Sports media is not a serious medium. It's not. I have been in it for 7 years, and I've looked at the people that are serious and the people that are unserious, and they're way more unserious people than they are serious people. This is a fact. These are just people up here lying, withholding information. I'm an NBA player. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to cover up for all my buddies. I'm not going to say anything. I'm a journalist. I'm going to have a podcast. I'm not going to say anything about my journalist friends. Then I'm going to defend. Like, that's all they do. And then once in a while, you may get an honest take out of somebody, and it breaks the system. Once in a while. That's why this article by ESPN's, I think Baxter Holmes, is making so much news. Because it's the first time we've been able to get some critical reporting. And now everybody's doing their best to distort the meaning behind what happened. No, it's not that Jeannie was upset with LeBron. I mean, he's worth it. Yeah, he's certainly worth that 2-12 record over the last 3 years. Man, it's certainly, the Lakers are booming. The Lakers are booming. They out here looking like Red Auerbach Celtics. 2-12 in the playoffs. This is amazing stuff. This is Shaq and Kobe stuff. This is Showtime Lakers stuff. There are very few people I respect and take seriously in this medium. I'm being dead serious with you. After I have come to realize this medium is not, it's not a serious medium. It is not. Trust me. When you see things like this happen, just know that you're not dealing with serious people that are trying to be journalistic and give you actual, real information, holistic. No, they're not doing that. All they up there doing is twerking it up, pouring honey all over each other's ankles, hollering and screaming, and giving each other daps behind the curtains while nobody sees. Over the summer, we got the news that Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, and these guys were going to be joining ESPN. And at the time that happened, a lot of people were skeptical, including myself, of this relationship even working because ESPN has a reputation. And we know the reputation of Charles and those guys. Those guys are real. They're candid. That's the reason you see them get into such fiery arguments. You don't see that on ESPN because everybody's just twerking it up all day long, right? So when we got the word that he was going to be playing for the signing with ESPN, people were speculating. Even Bill Simmons was like, "Are these guys going to ruin inside the NBA?" But as the season started, we began to get their schedule. And we found out they would be on TV occasionally. And I said to myself, what is this? Right? And to be quite frank with you, on the episodes that they have been together, they haven't really made much news. Well, it seems like Charles Barkley is beginning to grow frustrated with this partnership that they have here. And he's making his feelings known. And there's some articles that we want to read from here. One of them is from Yahoo Sports article, and it says, Charles Barkley reveals he's complained to ESPN about inside the NBA schedule change. And there's another one from, I think, Talk Sports. Charles Barkley calls out ESPN over inside the NBA while daring network to fire him in brutal, honest verdict. So let's read through these articles. First one from Yahoo Sports continues on. Inside the NBA's move to ESPN has drawn a myriad of responses from fans in great part due to the show's new schedule. The season. Since the season's premiere last fall, the series hasn't aired as frequently as it did when it was on TNT. Instead of airing weekly, the beloved talk show has cropped up more sporadically in recent months. Needless to say, fans haven't been shy about sharing their discontent with the change. Now, co-host Charles Barkley is speaking out, as well as given prior comments Barkley shared. This new take is somewhat surprising. Ahead of Inside the NBA's new season, Barkley shared his hopes for his professional future at ESPN. The longtime broadcaster said he did not want a greater workload under his new employee, citing his age as the reason for that. Barkley is singing a somewhat different tune after a few months working with Disney, though. The round mound of rebound appeared on the Dan LeBron show and revealed that while the transition has been great, he and others complained to the bosses about their lighter schedule. Let me just read through some of his comments here. We complained. We've only been on ESPN, I think, 4 times in 3 months. We did like the first 2 weeks. We were off all of the December until Christmas. We were off all of January until the 24th, and I don't like that at all. What I was talking about, working all the time, because I love watching basketball. I'm not going to do all these damn shows. I'm not going to be on ESPN 1, 2, 3, Deportes, Nachos, Echo, whatever they call it. I'm not going to be doing all that, but I wish we had been on more during the first half of the season. And then it starts. He says there's another part where he says they're going to start making up all these days, but I wish in December we only worked one day. Dan, that was Christmas Day, and we're only working one day in January. I wish we had worked more because it's been great. These guys at ESPN had been great, but like I say. We all know we'll know more after get schedule heavy, blah, 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 blah. So you already said there. Let me read from another article here. Charles Barkley calls out. Okay, so let's get to this point. It said the former NBA star has only been employed by the network for just over a year, but is already threatening the network to fire him. The 62-year-old has been outspoken his entire career, but amid Inside the NBA switch to ESPN from TNT, Barkley's frustration appears to have hit a boiling point. In a guest appearance on the Dan LeBron show, Barkley fired shots at the network for their decision not to use the Inside the NBA crew as regularly as TNT had in past years. We've complained. We've only been on ESPN 4 times in 3 months. I don't like it at all. What I was talking about was working all the time because I love watching basketball. I'm not going to be doing all these damn shows. And then he says, no, then we're going to get to this part. And we're only working one day in January. Basically, I wish we had more. As it stands, Inside the NBA is now set to be on the schedule 15 times through April. And then continues on. Barkley isn't worried about what ESPN thinks. Dares them to fire him. Can I say, it says, can I say Miami had a great year? Barkley jokingly asks. I don't want to talk about all these. I don't want all these punk ass reporters and clowns talking bad about me like they did that lady in Jacksonville who had a moment of humanity. Barkley, of course, is referring to Jacksonville's Free Press reporter Lynn Jones, who went viral for praising Jacksonville's Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen mid-press conference after the NFL defeat to the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round. Think about that, Dan. Jacksonville had a great year. They won 4 games last year. And we got so many punks on television and radio now because I don't get on these social media stuff, but I started looking at it. It was a big story brewing. Is this woman serious? She's supposed to be a journalist. He says, have we got to the point now where you have to be an idiot or fool or jackass to be on television or podcast or something now? When asked a follow-up question about how his higher ups at ESPN are reacting to him calling out reporters and the media, Barkley didn't shy away. They can fire me. I've got 7 years on my contract. I'm 100% retired. But if I can do something just a little bit stupid, so they have to fire me, they'll have to pay me for the whole 7 years. Yeah, this is pretty much going exactly how I thought it was going to go. This is pretty much going exactly how I thought it was going to go. The show hasn't had the same impact. In previous years, you could make an argument that Inside the NBA was the most talked about NBA show in a regular season. They had the most memorable moments. More memorable moments than First Take, Skip and Shannon. They were the number one. They were the number one. Now you can't even think of any any standout moment that these guys have had this year. Maybe they've had a moment here, maybe a moment there. And it's not the same. And I don't care as much. And the problem is, man, you're working with ESPN, they're the worldwide leader, but it's a different audience, man. ESPN's viewers are not, your typical viewers that you would have at TN. I just believe ESPN, they have a certain type of fan base that watch their content. I'm being serious, and I'm not surprised. You can clearly hear in his voice that this guy is fed up and he doesn't want to be there. That is 100% clear. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He's just saying, for you to say, fire me, and I don't care, you can fire me, that pretty much says it all. He's daring them to fire him. Yeah, it's not working out just like I thought.